We're talking about by Baoshan here. He took advantage of the fact that the security check at the entrance only inspected passengers' luggage and not their persons. Exploiting this loophole, he successfully smuggled a gun into the station. By this point, the gun was already well placed, and Bai Baoshan safely brought an automatic rifle and ammunition into Xinjiang without any trouble. After getting off the train, Bai Baoshan and Xie Zongfen didn't stay in Urumqi. On the same day, they took a bus to Shihizi and then transferred to the 143rd Regiment, located close to Wulanwusa town. That night, they registered at the regiment's hotel using Xie Zongfen's ID. Bai Baoshan had a clear objective in coming to the 143rd Regiment. Having visited during his time in Xinjiang labor camp, he knew about an ammunition depot here. According to his impression, the security at this depot was lax, making it easy to acquire bullets. The next morning, while Xie Zongfen was still asleep, Bai Baoshan went to survey the ammunition depot. However, upon entering the former depot, he was stunned. The storage facility had been relocated, and in its place stood residential buildings. Feeling disappointed, Bai Baoshan returned to the hotel and decided to go to the 147th Regiment to find his fellow inmate and buddy, Wu Ziming. Wu Ziming, whom Bai Baoshan referred to as Shanji, welcomed them. Despite being younger and having a theft conviction, Wu Ziming admired Bai Baoshan the most among the inmates. Since Wu Ziming was still at work, he asked them to go to his place and promised to join them after finishing work. That night, Bai Baoshan asked Wu Ziming how much salary one could earn working as a guard in the regiment. Wu Ziming replied, around 5,000 yuan. How about this, why don't you join me? Bai Baoshan straightforwardly stated, I want to check out the cotton funds here. If it's worth it, I'll do it. Their conversation didn't need much explanation, everyone understood the implication of doing it. The next day, Wu Ziming resigned from his guard job to wholeheartedly join Bai Baoshan. They presented themselves as cotton traders and explored cotton purchase and processing points around the area. Soon after, Xie Zongfen met some fellow Sichuan natives in the market, and they found an empty house in the residential area south of the factory. Xie Zongfen planned to rent it. Bai Baoshan visited with him and also found it satisfactory. In just a few days, Wu Ziming moved in with them, and the three of them lived in this house, which later became the secret base for Bai Baoshan and Wu Ziming's criminal activities. Observing cotton points, Bai Baoshan and Wu Ziming decided to buy a motorcycle for easier mobility. Bai Baoshan then wrote a letter to Dadi, asking him to send 10,000 yuan to the provided address. He instructed Dadi not to disclose anything about his activities in Xinjiang. Half a month later, Bai Baoshan received the remittance, and with Wu Ziming, they went to Shihizi, spending 6,000 yuan on a 70 model motorcycle with an A license plate in Wu Ziming's name. With the black motorcycle and a license from the 147th Regiment traffic team, their operational radius expanded, and efficiency increased. However, as it was the off-season for cotton purchases, there wasn't much cash at cotton processing points. Bai Baoshan had to postpone the plan to rob the cotton funds. Although Wu Ziming expressed unwavering commitment to follow Bai Baoshan in doing significant things from the moment they met, Bai Baoshan didn't disclose the fact that he was carrying firearms too early. It wasn't until May that he revealed some details about Beijing, showed Wu Ziming the automatic rifle, and said, "We need more than one gun to do this together. We have to figure out a way to get another one." Wu Ziming naturally agreed wholeheartedly. On June 5, Bai Baoshan and Wu Ziming took a bus to Keaton City, preparing to rob the sentry at the Shijiao Keaton Garrison Military Training Center and seize the 81 Type steel automatic rifles. Bai Baoshan had executed similar plans multiple times in Beijing and Hebei before, but previously, he operated alone. Now, with a partner for support, he needed more meticulous planning to avoid any mistakes. Arriving in Keaton early, the two wandered the streets, had a meal at a restaurant, and around 10 p.m., they were ready with firearms and ammunition. They then moved towards the training center, Baoshan in front and Wu Ziming behind. The military training center, Keaton Textile Factory, and thermal power plant were all located on the same road, and due to the remote location, there were very few pedestrians. At 11 p.m., they arrived outside the large wall of the garrison training center. Baoshan instructed Wu Ziming to stay outside for support while he, carrying the automatic rifle, climbed over the wall. Taking advantage of the cover of night, he quietly approached the sentry at the main gate. This method, attacking the sentry from within, was a mature experience Baoshan had gained from his previous crimes in Beijing. However, this time was unfortunate. A soldier had come out of the dormitory, having forgotten to retrieve his clothes hanging on a rope. Seeing a figure carrying a long bag crouching by the wall, he loudly asked, "Hey, what are you doing?" Baoshan? Pausing for a moment, he quickly assessed the situation, realizing that he had been spotted, and the plan to seize the gun could no longer proceed. Baoshan didn't answer but didn't run either. His automatic rifle was aimed at the soldier, who was unarmed. Unconcerned about the soldier, Baoshan walked briskly towards the wall. The soldier chased a couple of steps, shouting, "Stop, Baoshan! You stop!" Unwilling to be detained, Baoshan reached the wall, agilely leaped over it, and the pursuing soldier didn't continue, assuming the intruder might have been attempting theft. Back at the dormitory, the soldier reported the situation to the squad leader. Given the circumstances at that time, no one would have suspected that the intruder, carrying an automatic rifle, intended to rob the gate sentry's firearm. As there was no direct confrontation, the barracks didn't lose any items, and the incident passed without further consequences. At this point, Baoshan was quite tense. He met up with Wu Ziming outside the wall and said, "Not good, let's go quickly. I encountered someone." Taking advantage of the night's cover, the two hurriedly walked south and swiftly left the military training center. After covering about 2 or 3 kilometers, they reached the outskirts of Keaton, where a crossroads was ahead, not far from the 312 National Road. Suddenly, a jeep approached from the front and came to a stop with a creak. A soldier got out of the jeep. Baoshan, who had just left the military camp, mistakenly thought he was a soldier, but in reality, they were 2 patrolling police officers. The police officers stopped them and asked, "What are you doing?" Baoshan replied, "We're just passing through, heading to Wui Highway." The police officers then said, "We're on a mission. Please show your ID cards, we need to check Wu Ziming." He immediately went over for inspection, leaving Baoshan behind. At this point, he hadn't considered using the gun. Although he didn't have an ID card, Wu Ziming could probably come up with a reason to get through the inspection. However, the police officers checked their documents and didn't let them go, saying, "Please open your bag." Now Baoshan felt that there was no way to get through this. Without time to cancel or dispose of the bag, he pulled the trigger through the cloth bag. Seeing the gun, the police officers were shocked. One of them quickly jumped into the jeep, which hadn't been turned off. Seeing their colleague getting in, the driver stepped on the gas and quickly drove away. Baoshan and Wu Ziming, seeing the police fleeing, also ran away. The jeep headed north, while the two crouched and ran southeast. They didn't dare to take the main road, walking in the desert, with every step being a struggle. In this way, they first headed southeast and then turned northeast, continuously walking for more than 20 hours in the desolate wilderness. It wasn't until the next afternoon that they reached the 141st Regiment in the reclamation area near Shihizi, and then they took a bus back to the residence of the 147th Regiment. For a considerable period after this incident, they didn't dare to return to Keaton. Upon returning from Keaton, Baoshan suddenly remembered that near the 141st Regiment, close to the Nguyen prison where he served his sentence, there was an arsenal. When Baoshan was in prison, he had a fellow inmate who had stolen weapons from the mechanical depot at the 141st Regiment.